controversial subjects with the facts can be tense, but we are ASAP Science here to make things make sense.
Gay face.
We got a lot of feedback and conversation around gay voice, which was very fascinating, very fun. Lots of opinions. So we thought, why not talk about gay face? Because a lot of people think and say, I can clock someone from a mile away just from looking at them, not even hearing them or anything.
You say that.
Okay, what do you mean
we're
I say
immediately
that?
fighting. You're so, that guy's gay. That guy's gay.
Okay,
Like,
but I don't say
relax.
their face is gay.
Okay, so also the reason we're doing this is because during the study of gay voice,
There was a lot.
There's so much linking to all these studies on gay face, and it's endless. And then there's all these studies on gaydar.
Oh, I thought you were going to say gay dogs. I was like, no way.
No, I know. I wish our dog was gay, but he bangs women. He's bi. Anyways, I think I have a gay face. Look at it. For those on YouTube, look at this face. Gay.
I will say,
don't you think? I think you don't have a gay face.
You don't have a quintessential gay face to me, but in university, like I saw you across the room in class and was like, that's a gay guy. But it's hard to parse apart, which we'll find out in these studies. You know, there's a lot of cultural context clues about people, about the way they act, about the way they dress, about the behavior they exhibit, that it's hard to parse out. But I have found some studies that were like, we're going to remove those elements and actually analyze facial structures. And
well, that's what's cool. All my research as well is just on the face. It's not about me in university skipping literally into class with like the American Apparel people V-neck with like my mom's like pearls.
Just being like, slay, honey, go. Well, you actually,
no,
those
I
words
would
didn't
never
really
say
exist.
slay. That was like, that's new. I was saying.
It was pre-slay.
I was saying like, oh my God. I'm like, what were the things that would be like shortening everything? Like no presh.
Oh, yeah. And what? No, oh, God, there were so many stupid terms.
Or like
what
for shiz.
Yeah.
It would be like, instead of saying shit, you'd be like, for shiz.
Or shizzle.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
always just stealing from other
Ew.
cultures, I'm sure.
It is.
We're
like, oh my God, that rapper said shizzle.
I think now your beard, it's like it can shape your face, so it's harder to tell.
But even right now, it's like I just got my beard trimmed and done because I'm a gay guy, and it's like a little bit too perfect.
Well, see, that's part of the like grooming can maybe be a culture, a context clue.
Yes.
Anyway,
Let's go.
to get into
Let's
the
go.
research, I was actually shocked how much there is on this.
I know, it kind of made me be like, okay, scientists, like still haven't figured out cancer.
Yeah, like
what are we?
yeah.
Why are we going so ham on gay face?
I mean, it seemed like most of it since the 2000s is the vibe I got. I'm sure there might be more before that, but a lot of the studies to me were like modern. So maybe there's just lots of like queer STEM kids these days that are like, we're studying this. It's time for us to be noticed.
No, it's true. Like, it's
in which
fine.
case, go for it. But actually, probably most of these are just like straight dudes who were like,
No, I actually, two people. One, I'm even going to want to host on the podcast. From these studies I looked up. No offense to them. Looked at their photo. Gayest face I've ever seen. They're gay. It's gay guys. It's gay guys and women doing these studies. Straight
Well,
guys
that's
aren't
good.
that interested in this.
yeah, the gays can have face, the straights can cure cancer.
Yes. Yeah. And that's why we need straight people.
Okay, well, I'd say like maybe what brought this into real conversation in science is that there has been like analysis, multiple studies, and then meta-analysis that ultimately show higher than a chance people seem to be able to clock a gay face.
Yes.
And for a long time it was unknown, like, what is it about that? Is it real? I think a lot of it was mixed into like, is it because you heard them speak? Is it because you heard them act? Is it because you see the features of their haircuts and their clothes? But the reason this has come into light is because they're like, no, when we ask people, do you think this person's gay? Do you think this person is straight? More than 50-50, more than chance they'll get it right.
Yeah, based on photos. But okay, so some of the earlier studies that I have was 52 lesbian women, 134 heterosexual women, 77 gay men, 127 heterosexual gay men. This was on a Canadian campus.
Oh,
and it was
all
at
of them are
Pride event.
Canadian.
I know.
Every study I found, even the one that was like Spanish, was also like referencing all the
I
Canadian
know, and then
studies.
exactly one that was like from
We're gay.
Britain. They're like, we talked to a guy in Toronto, and I was like, okay, we're so gay.
But like, actually, we are.
Yeah.
Every time I walk outside, now that it's summer, I'm like, gay
face. So they essentially found that, yeah, people were able to look at people's faces specifically. One thing that was issues with all these studies, it was all white people. Like,
oh, wow.
Like,
okay.
I did not find one that wasn't white people, including the AI one. We'll get into it. Like, AI is so stupid and racist and horrible. But anyways, and they found that this older one is going to almost, the gay face changes as you go on, that lesbian women had noses that were more turned up.
Oh, I saw that too. Yeah.
And mouths that were more puckered, smaller foreheads, marginally more masculine face shapes than heterosexual women. Gay men had more convex cheeks, shorter noses, but that changes in more recent ones, and foreheads that were more tilted back relative to heterosexual men.
Wait, let's talk about these traits out loud. Because
Yeah.
I want to like process like what is a forehead that's tilted back?
Okay, so
like
this-
instead of like this, if you're watching on the video,
Yeah.
I'm like bringing my forehead
I mean, like, I'm
forward.
like, is mine tilted back?
no,
Like-
because you're kind of like Neanderthal forehead.
Yeah, okay, so mine's maybe not that. Well, okay, no, but the forehead one tilted back, that's an older study. The newer study, which we'll get into and talk a lot about, is based on AI.
Okay.
And it's really crazy and insane how accurately AI can tell
Okay,
someone's
but
gay
let's
from their
go-
face.
let's
But it's
stay
a
with
big
this study.
forehead, big forehead. It's for gay.
Big foreheads.
Yes, like all
because our
three-
brains are so big.
Yeah, and I honestly, I'm like, sorry, folks, but I have the biggest forehead in all of the world.
Do you think it like, and not to say gay queer people have bigger brains, but it's like
That
certainly we don't have bigger. Well, I guess gay guys do have a lot of big muscles lots of times, but I'm like, we're
No, it's
typically
not,
more
'cause-
social. Why is our foreheads bigger?
Well, this is the whole
my
point. Is
forehead
they're
big?
like, it's leading to this understanding of, is there a biological
Reason.
understanding and reason for being gay? If there's these phenotypic traits, like that's what all these studies are trying to argue. Again, it's just trying to be like, we were born this way, fame. I'm beautiful in my way. Like that's what they're wanting to explain.
Right.
We understand that,
that there's like a literal genotype and phenotype that explains like that it's actually not quote unquote a choice, and that there is,
exactly.
like,
They're being
yeah.
like, okay, if all these gay guys look similar and different than all these straight guys, there must be a biological reason. Therefore, you don't choose to be gay, which some people like still need to know. And there is also research, like for example, like when women are exposed to high levels of testosterone in utero, they have higher rates of not being straight.
Okay.
So like testosterone affecting a fetus can lead to a quote unquote lesbian. Like these are all, they sound like creepy, weird studies, but their social impact is to be like, again, queer people are not choosing this. Let's give rights to queer people. Like there's a positive and obvious reason why this is important science, but it also gets really creepy and weird when we're being like, gay guys have big foreheads and straight guys don't. That's like obviously weird.
And it can be scary. Like sometimes I've seen the even more progressive conversation is it shouldn't matter because it's actually scary if it's genetic, and then people are like, well, then we can get rid of it. Like obviously there's genetic components to this that we have found through time, but I think part of the conversation is also like, who cares? Even if someone chose it, why should that matter? You
Yeah.
know,
Also, it's like,
people
get
are
rid
allowed.
of it.
People
It's
are,
like, have fun in a world
like
without gay
eugenics.
people. Like
Yeah.
boring.
Right. But obviously there's lots of people in this world that would be like prone to doing that. Anyway, all I mean is like sometimes it's
Yeah,
like
I
this.
guess.
I do believe most scientists and people in actual research are doing it with good intention, but there is a point, and it goes the same with like trans issues where it's just like we shouldn't have to prove like people can make their own choices. They're autonomous, and if somebody I don't know. Nowadays we see lots of straight guys who are willing to be, my voice cracked on straight guys, I got so scared, who are like, no, I'm bi, or I'm more sexually fluid. And even gay guys who are like, okay, I don't have to be so on and off.
Imagine it was like Spider-Man, you know, how he like wakes up one day ripped. Like if like some like bi guy decided one day, he's like, you know what? I am bi. Like I think I like guys. Wakes up, pulls his hair back, huge forehead. It's like his face starts changing.
It's Pinocchio. Every time he gets fucked, his forehead
He's
gets
like,
bigger.
wait, I kind of want to blow that dude. And his nose just like shortens and his jaw gets smaller. Okay, let's talk more. What, do you want to talk more about the phenotypic traits?
Yeah, let's go back to those again because you kind of went through them fast.
Well, okay,
so
'cause
for gay men in this older study, let's talk about it again. It was shorter noses. We have pretty small noses.
We do.
We have really cute button noses.
And convex cheeks. I'm like, that's just gay guys sucking their cheeks in and going.
But that's so true. Like this kind of is like very rare on a straight guy.
I used to do that in high school, literally after I came out, like in photos, because I thought it made me look like an Abercrombie model. And then I now look back from like my like digital camera photos, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm like biting my cheeks,
Like sucking them in so
yeah,
hard.
I look like I have
Fish
like a
lips.
serious like problem.
I don't
Anyways.
think I ever. I'm trying to do it now. Maybe I did sometimes, but not like I actually can remember you doing that when we were younger.
Yeah. It's like insane. And
You
my
had
lips
this,
were
like-
like huge. It's like, okay, I was trying to give myself gay face in case anyone didn't know.
So convex cheeks, just to reiterate, is like the sucked in form versus
Yeah.
like the blown out form.
So like, yeah, guys, big like.
So those are the 3 traits for gay men. Shorter noses.
There's more, but they're in the newer ones. Like how new are your
Whereas
studies?
lesbian women, you said, had turned up noses. Does that just mean like at the end going more upwards?
Yeah, and their mouths were more puckered, hot.
Mouths were more puckered,
smaller
like,
foreheads.
less puckered means like big outwards lips,
Yeah.
like puckered, like almost like they're being pulled out.
And smaller foreheads. So it's pretty much like
The opposite.
It's pretty much like if you're like a gay guy and like a straight girl, you have like a Rihanna forehead. And then if you're like a straight guy or like a lesbian, you have like a short, tiny little forehead.
Wow, I cover my forehead.
No,
with
you have
my
a
hair.
huge ass forehead too. I used to
Don't say that out
I used to
loud.
tell people Nike
That I have a forehead.
No, relax. I said it's not all about you.
Well,
I used to tell people that
sometimes it is.
that Nike could charge money to advertise on my billboard of a forehead.
That's when you learned what self-deprecation was, and you were like,
Yeah.
"I'm gonna absolutely lean into this."
Yeah.
Whereas I didn't learn that lesson. I do have a big forehead, but I cover it with hair. So
Yeah.
But when I was younger, I used to have a faux hawk, and that forehead was long. So,
Oh my God, you had not. Sorry, but you have a huge forehead.
Don't
No, because now that you're
say.
saying your faux hawk days, I'm like, damn, that forehead is half your face.
Greg, don't say that.
What? Now you're ashamed of having a gay face? What's that mean?
No, I'm not ashamed of having a gay face. No one wants a long billboard forehead.
What? That's a gay face.
But I didn't. No, I don't want a long forehead.
No, you're going in circles here. You're wanting a mask. No, we want a gay face, Mitch. We're accepting it.
I want to quickly, before we jump into more studies, actually ask: do you think when you see someone, like, do you think gay face exists?
Okay, so this is the
Obviously
thing.
you've done research,
Yeah, like, but I can't tell how much of it has to do with grooming, because when I think of
grooming
like,
as in like the way people do their hair and their
Yeah.
beard and their facial
like
routine and
tonight we're going to like our friend's housewarming with a bunch of gay guys. Every single one of them, the face is faggy, my friends. Let me tell you, like, I'm just thinking of them one by one. I'm like, gay.
well,
gay.
also the Botox and all that.
Yeah,
doesn't
exactly.
help.
I'm like, some of them are flipping their
It
lips.
might help in one way,
Like
but,
they're literally. We have a friend who flips his lip and has like a big ass forehead and a gay face because he has Botox. A lot of them have Botox. Like, so that's what I mean. That's not what these studies are about. They're not.
Right.
If that like this is about a biological.
Yes.
They're trying to argue a biological thing.
pre any modification.
Honestly, like they didn't talk about it in the studies I read, but they better have asked them about Botox, or else that's a huge
well,
issue.
I think they probably. Oh, you mean like to have known whether they had it or not?
But
yeah.
the cool study we'll get to about AI would not care about the Botox. It would just be like in general. And so I think, yes, like even when I think of like our more masculine presenting gay friends, like no, the faces are gay, bro. They're gay because the beard is, they're going to the barber 3 times a week.
Yeah, but that's not the face. That's the beard.
No, but that is the face. It's
See,
like
now
they're,
I think that there is definitely gay face, but not all gay men have it. Do you know what I mean? Like that definitely there are men who like I can
name them.
eat-
Name a gay guy without a gay face. Matt Bomer, gay. Like any celebrity.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like
Troye Sivan, that's a girl. It's like the hottest thing
Stop.
ever.
There are obviously
Who's like the
gay
most
guys.
masculine gay guy? Even that like football dude who like, or no, bachelor football guy who was like a bachelor that came out, like the gayest face.
I don't have this kind of memory to just pull out people out of my
Billy
mind.
Eichner's face isn't that gay.
Yeah. But I mean, all I mean is they're definitely, even amongst people we know, I'm like, I can think of people who, like, if I didn't see their mannerisms or know them that well, or like literally know they were gay, I wouldn't necessarily assume from across the room. Like, I've definitely met gay people that I've been like, oh, I didn't realize you were gay until later.
Name them.
I'm not going to name
Literally.
people on this podcast.
Come on. I'm like, I want to know one. I haven't thought.
Well, offline it only because I don't want to like, I don't know. I don't want to name our friends.
Okay.
But definitely all I mean is for sure there are times when I'm like, that person has a gay face. And there are times when I'm like, oh, I don't think that guy has that gay of a face, but he's gay.
But he's sucking my dick.
Yeah, so he must be gay.
Yeah. Okay, fine. But I'm just like, I'm with the science on this one, and the faces are gay. I can tell. big ass forehead.
You think every gay face you can tell? No way.
No, I'm just having a hard time picturing a gay guy that doesn't have a gay face right now. Like, I'm serious.
We'll think of it later. Who are other gay celebrities?
I know. I'm like, I don't know.
I'm just gonna look up
Anderson
gays.
Cooper. It's like, are you kidding? He looks like a Ken doll.
You also need to like remember how people like present themselves.
Are you
right?
literally Googling gay celebrities?
celebrities?
Oh, it just said gay celebrities nude, Mitch. Clay Aiken. Are you kidding? That's a little girl face.
Well, yeah, obviously Clay.
Go to
Aiken's gay.
image. He doesn't know how to Google. This is the insane thing about Mitch. He's so good at tech, but he can't Google.
I love how Zac Efron came up first. It's like, what? All these people aren't gay. Literally none of these photos are of gay people. So
Well, Rosie O'Donnell, she has like some lesbian features, I must say.
I don't know. This isn't really helping.
It's
because
only
all these-
showing like Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah,
It's like,
I
that
think-
one ain't confirmed.
I think it's showing all the ones who it's like, could they be gay?
Okay, Sam Smith, gay face.
Yeah.
That guy that lied about getting robbed, gay face. Whoever Sam Smith's arms around, that looks like the gayest person I've
Okay,
ever seen.
we're not. Okay, this is
Simon Cowell, gay face.
But he does not. He's not gay.
There's no way Simon Cowell has not sucked a dick. Now, let me tell you that. And that's a scientific fact. Elton John, the
Why is
forehead is
Barack
for
Obama
miles.
there?
Chris Colfer, like.
Okay,
they're-
you're pointing.
Tyler
out the ones.
Oakley and his little gay face. Like, I don't know. I just can't see one that's
Okay,
not.
well, please
Okay.
send in. Gay people who don't have gay face, whether it's your friends or celebrities.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll analyze them on another episode.
Whoever is dating Jessie Tyler Ferguson, that is a lesbian woman. Okay, so the faces
I would
are
say
gay.
also an earlier study in 2011 found that self-identifying heterosexual people displayed less asymmetrical facial features than homosexual people. But the two groups did not differ significantly on other facial metrics, is what that earlier
So
study
wait,
found.
so gay guys are more symmetrical?
I think less.
Oh,
Wait, hold on.
that's a blow to my ego.
Yeah, straights displayed less asymmetrical facial features.
Yo, gay guys are more busted. Is that why we're all getting Botox?
That doesn't track for me, but maybe it's true.
I mean, like sometimes you see straight
They're
guys
like,
and you're
yeah,
just
the
like,
foreheads are popping.
yeah. If your forehead's so big, there's more chance, and like there's more of a canvas to be asymmetrical.
Okay, so
Okay.
let's move into the newer
To
research.
the AI one, this one's crazy. It's like scary. Okay, so a computer algorithm could correctly distinguish between gay and straight men 81% of the time for men, 71% of the time for women, whereas human judges performed much worse. They would only get 61% of the time it right for men,
Okay.
54% for women.
Oh,
No,
wow,
that's
okay.
like barely like if
Yeah.
it's 50-50.
Yeah.
54% is like wow.
54 is not good,
Lesbians
yeah.
are not getting clocked. So this was 35,000 facial images of men and women publicly posted on dating websites. So they were
Okay.
able to know their sexuality. The data used certain trends and like AI math algorithms to figure out what was a gay face, and it was narrower jaws.
Like skinnier?
This is gay man face.
Gay man face.
Narrow jaws. Troy Sivan's jaw. Tyler Oakley's jaw.
Okay.
With longer noses. So this is where
Longer noses.
Yeah, so this
Interesting.
original study on gay face, which said shorter noses, was from like 2010, whereas this AI stuff's way more recent, and I will
Fair.
probably clock that the AI is a bit more accurate.
Yeah.
Long and larger foreheads. They said that was the most significant.
Wow, that
trait.
one just keeps coming back.
Gay women had larger jaws and smaller foreheads. We've been over that. And it's sort of like the feminization of the male face makes you gay. The masculinization of the female face makes you
Right.
gay. Again, trying to be like, there must be some sort of biological component here. Paper suggested that the findings provide strong support for the theory that sexual orientation stems from exposure to certain hormones before birth, meaning people are born gay and being queer is not a choice. Again, no people of color, all white
Right.
people.
That's
Insane.
crazy. That's
Okay,
crazy.
AI is the worst.
On dating
I'm
sites, how could there be
so
only white people?
sick because these studies only used white people. Literally, I'm so sick of science. I'm so sick of AI. I'm so sick of reading Nature magazine every week. AI this, AI that. It's like, call me when this does something. It does invent cool drugs, actually. Like, they're just okay, but call me when this isn't the most annoying thing ever. Okay, so recently they asked AI to make a picture of a black doctor looking after 3 poor, sick white kids.
Okay.
AI makes the image. 3 black kids, white doctor. Like it is like incapable of keeping that stereotype alive when they literally plugged
like,
it
say
in.
what to make.
So it's like, I don't give a shit about
That's
this until
weird.
you don't fix this. And then even all these studies being like, and it was all white faces. It's like, okay, well, fuck you.
Yeah.
Anyways, so it's like, we don't know anything about anyone who isn't white, but if you're white with a big forehead, you're gay. Oh, pisses me off. Like,
That is really weird that they would actively exclude.
they're just like, people of color were not included in the study, and there was no consideration of transgender or bisexual people. Let me tell you this. Bisexual people, medium-sized forehead. Okay, I'm kidding.
Yeah, like perfectly in the middle. Not too hot, not too cold.
It's just-
Goldilocks amount.
It's just annoying. It's just like, everyone's always like, well, we made it, this is the parameters. And they just like write their racist shit in the study and then keep going. And it's like, oh.
And it's weird that they wouldn't at least also just do a variety. Like, it's just fine if you want to segment groups because you think their morphology might be slightly different, but you should do a version that includes all of them to see if there's like trends in every different race. Then you should do versions where you can clump the different racial groups to see if like East Asian gay people feature different kinds of looks.
I just feel like science is the worst,
weird.
and they're just constantly like, there's issues with racism. And then they just like, because they're like studies and they like claim they're like, you know, in science you get to like say, now what were the issues with your methods? And then they just get to say it and be like, study done. Yeah, it's just,
I mean, to be fair, I will also mention in the main study I looked at did acknowledge that like so much of this is using binary concepts of sexual orientation and of sex and gender. And so like, of course we understand why in one concept, but especially talking about Gen Z and younger generations being much more fluid. Like you don't have, looking at a face, someone doesn't have to be gay or straight. They might be bi, they might be pan, they might be like anything in between. So it's kind of like a forced binary on a situation.
Yeah,
when
we
more
are
and more
millennials
people,
yelling about gay and straight, and there's probably Gen Z being like
shut
old
up.
news, buddies.
I'm gonna mention.
I just spilled so much water on me. It looks like I'm lactating.
Cute. Do you have to say more about that specific study before I?
Just that, like, obviously people are like, we're scared. This AI tech, classic AI conversation. AI tech in the wrong hands. All of a sudden they're scanning
Everyone's
your
gay.
faces and they're being like, you're gay, you're prosecuted. And then it's like, well, we need to know how these things work so they don't get in the wrong hands. And I don't know why I'm saying it like that, but I'm just like, boring.
That actually did scare me.
Wait, really? I'm just like, what? We're going to like Minority Report get scanned and it's going to be like, faggot. And then we're going to get like divvied up into a separate room.
I mean, maybe.
I don't know. I guess I have rose colored glasses, but I guess this could, in the wrong hands, obviously be bad if they're scanning people. And it's also not fully accurate, obviously.
And I mean, that happens anyway. Like, without even using technologies, some groups of people will persecute gay people just because they think they're gay, even if they're not.
Also, picture like the evil, like gay dictator who's like, there's just like, there are like 30% of straight guys with big foreheads that like aren't gay. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is not, they walk in, they're like, scan them, they're like, gay, you're gay. And they're like, no, wait, I'm actually straight.
Mine was not with AI, but I thought it was a really funny study. So this was an example of them trying to remove any social cues, anything to do with like not just the facial features. Because a lot of the previous studies looked at faces, but then they would have beards and hair, and people were able to kind of like pick up, that's gay hair. You know what I mean?
Maybe I am cosplaying a straight with my like big beard.
And also the AI ones, except maybe yours is different, but the previous AI studies that this one acknowledged was like they often were also generating faces for people to look at based on these prototypical.
That was this one I talked about.
They generated the faces and then they had people look at them, right? Whereas this was like, we're actually going to use real faces and modify them. So there's actually images in this study.
Like of straight guys with big foreheads?
They actually didn't ask if they were gay or straight. They'd just take like a man or a woman, they'd take their face and they'd make one version that was less gay, quote unquote, based on what they'd
shorten the forehead.
Yeah, tiny forehead, just like the tiniest forehead in the world. And then they'd make another version that was super giant forehead gay, and you can see the photos of them.
Whoa.
And then like through the study, they'd ask people to rate them gay or straight, and basically people based on those characteristics, would way more likely choose the one as gay that they had forced to make gay, to the degree that they called it like a linear regression model where it like tracked almost perfectly with how much of the traits they pushed. So the most extreme gay traits, people like were way more likely to identify as gay than if there was just like subtle changes to it, or like one or two of the traits changed, which I thought was really interesting.
Okay, also genius idea for a viral app, Gay Face. So you just upload your image and then it uses those sort of like big forehead, small nose, tiny jaw, and just makes your face gay.
Oh,
or
true.
because there is that
or it's like, wow, we don't have to do anything.
Yeah, they're like, and loading. It's just a selfie right back of my face. But there is that straight face on Snapchat where it like makes your jaw bigger.
Yeah,
and
but it's still kind of gay. Doesn't it like make you also have like makeup on?
No, obviously that's the makeup filter.
Oh, I'm thinking of the beauty one, but your jaw gets huge in the beauty one.
Okay, like relax. I'm not talking about the.
I'm relaxed.
I'm talking about the man one, and it literally is just a photo, but they make your jaw bigger, which is straight.
Yeah.
So I'm saying we need a gay face one.
Yeah, we'll make it.
I don't know how to do that. This is for those out there listening.
Something interesting in this study, women had a much higher accuracy of identifying gay male faces than
Allies, ladies and gentlemen, allies.
So, and people that like were less prejudiced against queer people were better at recognizing queer faces as well, both in men and women.
Okay,
which
so
is interesting.
Also, these AI algorithms can also clock whether you're like conservative or not.
Oh.
They've started to like
based on your face?
Yes. They've started to do the similar type of thing with political ideology and finding
See, that's
that there's a
crazy.
difference. I know. That's where I'm like,
but like, I don't think there could be nothing there, but it's kind of like,
I mean, like,
so you think you plop someone anywhere in the world and they'll just naturally be more
no,
conservative?
it's
based
obviously
on
a
their genes?
white person in America if it's a study on AI, but
I guess I just
Yeah.
mean, do they like, so we're inherently more, I guess the term conservative versus whatever doesn't necessarily have to do with specific politics so much as like behavior, like acting more out of fear versus acting more out
But this
of...
was based on facial recognition. It's interesting because it makes you think like, again, they were like this in the wrong hands because it's like, is there a world where they scan your...
Yeah.
They're like gay liberal, but scanned. But it is interesting. Like I always go back to this idea of like grooming and phenotype, but like there is sort of like, oh, that guy's from New York, and like
You think
that
you can
guy's
tell if someone looks
well,
from
I'm like, these AI algorithms are like, these studies are saying that there is something happening here, and I'm just laughing because it's like, yeah, again, it could be the clothes and the way people act, but like if I'm in rural Ontario, like we're clocked. Like people, like even a straight guy from Toronto in a small town is clocked.
Yeah.
Like it's like, oh, hey, I remember once I was like in Anaheim and like leaving Disneyland alone and just like walking out, and like all these cab drivers were like, well, if it ain't Mr. Hollywood. And I was just like, wait, what? And they were just like, it was just like, I was wearing like Huarache shoes and like was just like,
I'm so close to like LA. That's so weird.
yeah, like I just mean, there is something that happens.
Yeah.
That to me doesn't seem biological.
To me,
but
that seems aesthetic.
I know, but that's like what...
They were clocking your face shape, you think?
Well, that's what's crazy with the face shape one, but I'm like, in general, there is something really funny to think about the way people look and how an AI algorithm could start differentiating people. Like the science is getting to a point where we can do these studies, and we know gay guys have giant foreheads.
Yeah. I was going to say something and I forget. Oh, I was like, do you think it becomes less and less pronounced as the world becomes more and
Fluid?
more mixed, right? Like as we can now travel, lots of people meet each other from all over the world. Like people are much more likely to be like interracial and mixed, that these traits are getting more mixed up. Not that it's like racial in terms of like queerness or gayness. I don't actually know the stats on that. Like I guess different countries, like, well, some countries don't accept being gay, so they probably don't track those things. But I'm like, if you can so clearly tell features, like maybe it does make sense. You can tell what someone looks like from New York because like generations they've been there, and like if you go to different countries, there's different facial features. Well, I'm like you could clock people from New York based on their face.
But it's just because like they got a beard trim and they have like
I thought you
the
meant based on their
newest like
face
Jack
shape.
Mus bucket hat. I'm just saying, like, there's something like interesting about how your environment affects you, and like even epigenetics, like the idea of being gay, some people think is an epigenetic trait, which is like how your environment affects your genes. Like it's just very interesting. I could see this like really changing a lot with AI. Oh my God, he did the look back. What are you looking at?
I'm just looking at how long we've been talking.
Oh,
it's still recording.
I thought it was the still recording. Oh my God.
It is. I'm always looking to make sure we're still recording.
We're not just talking about gay. I mean, we would talk about this over dinner anyways.
Okay. Well, I guess ultimately it's just
ultimately we're just two gay guys with a podcast with giant foreheads, and that's like the main takeaway from all these studies. The noses were short and long depending on the study, but the one thing that remained was gay guys have huge foreheads.
We should measure all our friends' foreheads tonight and
They're
see who has the longest one.
Picture them all. Mark, he's in the gym, big ass forehead.
Oh, don't say people's
Carson,
names.
big ass
Stop
forehead.
it.
I'm going through. Kyle, big ass
Don't
forehead.
say
What's wrong with
names.
saying their names and saying they have big foreheads?
You shouldn't be yelling people you know on a podcast. Every other podcast
what
bleeps names.
is that anxiety? What do you think's gonna happen?
Maybe they're not giving consent to be talked about on a podcast that random strangers are listening to.
Oh my God, they're our friends. Well, we'll find out if they listen because they'll be reaching
They
out.
don't.
They don't.
Okay, I'm gonna be clocking everyone's forehead tonight.
Yeah, like if you go to a gay bar, it's just like a bunch of foreheads in a space. Like, I'm not kidding.
You should go to jail.
No, I'm just like, prove me wrong. AI's on my side.
You're the one who can't even clock a gay person from a mile away. My whole life I've been.
No, you just
have the
say
worst.
it's called confirmation bias. We should do an episode on it. You just say every single guy you meet is gay, and then when they end up being gay, you go, see, guess I have the best gaydar in the world.
I do not say everyone's gay at all. A lot of people are bi.
I have never heard you meet one guy without saying that they weren't gay.
No, because I only talk about the ones that I think are gay. I'm not going straight. I'm like, yeah, those are obvious.
Oh my God.
Greg, we're gonna do an episode on gaydar, and Greg has a bad gaydar.
I do, and we have.
Yeah, you're screaming that you can clock a forehead from a mile
well,
away.
I'm just saying, I have noticed the foreheads are out in full force at a gay bar, and we're gonna have an expert from U of T come on and talk about gaydar. He studies gaydar.
Oh, actually?
Yeah, I know. Isn't that insane?
Wow.
Academics are getting away with anything these days.
No, that's really cool.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Rihanna, as a man, gay. No, she's like the biggest forehead in the world. Yeah, there's like jokes about that.
Oh, I'd have to look.
Do you think this is bad research? Like, do you think it's messed up that people are studying this?
No, I don't think so. I think do you
think there's ethical issues? Everything's so serious about this stuff. Like ethics. Oh my God.
I think
ethics.
My take is that most of it's probably done in good faith. Is what I think, but I don't have evidence to say that. Other than I just don't think the people who are doing this research are doing it to clock gay people to hate them.
No, I think
it is
doing
interesting.
it.
I think it's just like talking about something more is interesting. I do believe that you can't categorize everything and make not everything is about knowing exactly what somebody is and what they're not, because it's you need room for people to also express themselves how they want to, and so much of that, who you are as a person, is so much more than just your face body and your face. Yeah.
Who you are is so much more than your face.
And I do believe that whether there's queer genetics or not, obviously, like you said, epigenetics, it can express differently through the world, and I think that it would be really rude to call someone gay just because they look gay.
Yeah.
There's probably lots of straight men and women who look gay and are actually I'm not. So,
yeah.
So I think it's interesting as long as it's not used in any bad way.
Yeah, and I do think the intention from these scientists is to try and find a biological.
Yeah, and I ultimately think the more we talk about it, the more normalized it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, a lot of these studies probably couldn't have ever got funding or been acknowledged in the past. So the fact that they're able to be now is because it's queer people are more and more included as part of the greater society. And so ultimately, I think that's a good thing. Not to say there can't be bad aspects of it.
And it's trying to just fight against the very I can't believe still an idea of people choose to be gay. They're designing these studies to try and find a biological basis for being gay, so that we don't have to have that conversation anymore. But it's just because that is a conversation that I haven't thought about in years. I'm sometimes reading these and being these studies are so dumb.
What's the point?
Yeah, but that is the point. I genuinely think, and also all the research on gay genes and the research we've talked a lot about how the more sons you have, the more likely they're to be gay.
Right.
Which is so interesting, but they think there's an epigenetic thing happening in
a biological
the
mother.
biological mother to have a gay son, the more sons they have, so that son will stick around in the pack and help out.
Right.
Like, that's super interesting. That's just a theory based on this like fact or stat.
Yeah.
But again, those scientists are trying to be like, there's a biological reason why gay people exist. Which,
and I think they're not to bring up. Well, okay, no. Neil deGrasse Tyson talks about something interesting and like
gay. Have you seen that guy's forehead?
No, but you know who is gay and who he's debating? Ben Shapiro, gay. He's like debating him about
debating him.
Neil deGrasse Tyson at one point about trans people, and Neil deGrasse Tyson is just kind of like,
God.
He's like, but they exist, so we might as well study it. Like, we have like stats to show there's trans people in our world, so why would you be so against us trying to like? We just have to accept that they're in our world. You know what I mean? There's like a clip I've seen.
Do people listen to that guy anymore?
I don't really want to talk about him, but
no, but like actually,
also I think he's gay.
Yeah, remember when he was like, remember when like didn't like the like WAP video come out and he was like,
oh yeah,
he was like, oh, my wife's never had a wet. I don't know what it was, but it was just like, yeah, you're gay, like your wife's not wet because you're gay.
Anyway,
join
let's
us.
not go there. All I meant to say is like, even with just gay people, it's like it's a part of society, and so it's interesting to learn more about it.
Yeah.
That's why I think these studies are worth doing.
And we're a thriving
trans
part of
people.
society. Have you heard Troye Sivan's new album? No, yeah, gay guys, like, no, we're lost though, I think, culturally.
Sure.
Yeah, like our foreheads are
But
big,
so is
and that's like
everyone.
all we have going for it.
I think every
no,
subgroup
I don't
is-
know.
And everyone in their own different ways lost.
No,
We're
I
all
feel
lost.
like, like country music.
We have to move on, I think.
Wait, really? You don't want to talk
Country
about
music?
You don't want to talk about how the gay man is lost?
That could be another episode. Our gays lost.
Our gays.
I think some, like, of course, cultural movements can be defined in
I'm
certain
also being
ways, like-
hyperbolic and joking, but you seem serious. Wow, why do you think me putting you in a hole?
I'm only thinking about like the body,
dysmorphia.
yeah, as like a huge cultural push towards having like perfect bodies and being like washboard abs and so hot, and like everyone with the internet being so obsessed with that. I think that happens to straight people as well. That happens to like women, men, everything in between. We're seeing all this imagery, but it really feel it in the gay community. I think it like leads to like eating disorders and drug use and stuff. Not in everyone, but I think like that obviously is a challenge. Of course, there's huge swaths of the queer community that are like nothing like that and don't care about those things. But I do think like it's trauma, like especially our generation.
It's Trump.
No, it's trauma. Like our generation, like even for me, it's like the only way to express myself was through like perfectionism to show that I had like value. You know what I mean? But then you learn like that's actually really toxic. But I see a lot of gay men who are like super high achievers, super high performers, and you think that's really cool. That's great.
Yeah.
They're in all these powerful positions, but then you're like, actually, that's like not coming from a good place.
It is very we have an episode on it. It's internalized homophobia.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you should go listen to it because that's when we talk about all those things for sure. I wasn't talking about that. I was more talking about like how gay guys can't dress anymore, and like culturally, it's like, yeah, like why can't a gay guy make a good song or like
Troye Sivan makes great music.
yeah, I know, but it's like there's one.
Omar,
Not gonna lie, but the songs.
Okay,
are
Frank
made.
Ocean.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Okay, now you're doing really good examples. But Omar Apollo is an example to me. Like, I don't know. Hopefully, he's not a listener. But it's like the music's boring.
Well, to you, but lots of people like it.
Yeah,
There's lots of queer artists that are great, I think.
I think gay guys are too chronically online. Like Omar Apollo, like his mystery is gone. It's like he's always just like lol, deep throating, and it's like he's being all funny. But then his music is like really moving, and it's
But
like,
that's everyone. Everyone's forced to be a personality on the internet.
I think
Otherwise,
gay
no one
guys are
listens
more,
to-
as you said, perfectionist, obsessed with fame. That they're more like thirsty for it.
Anyway, I think we should wrap up the conversation.
Yeah, I'm just like bashing gay people. It's probably a bad way to end this.
Gay people are beautiful. All queer people are beautiful, even if you have
Even
massive
if you have a
foreheads.
massive forehead that
or
goes
tiny
on and
forehead
on and on.
if you are a female.
So I think rulers out this pride, me and you, we're measuring foreheads and we're doing some citizen
That's how you get
science.
entrance. Biggest forehead gets first entrance at the gay
Yeah,
club.
you know how there's like best ass at Woody's? We
Yeah.
should do biggest forehead. I bet it would be insane. If we did biggest forehead at a gay bar at Woody's in Toronto, it'd be like, okay,
World
where's
record.
the meter stick? Yeah, like honestly. Like we'd be like, holy shit, it's going past 12 inches.
They can't even get in the building.
Yeah. Oh my God. Like literal
Frankenstein.
cone heads. Yeah. We laughed and we laughed. Okay, now we're going to... Oh, mine's about sports. Ever heard of them?
I hate when you do sports things. Okay, we'll take a little break and we're coming back for some extra little science.